Hi everyone, Patty here with another great video following along with Louisa Heinzel and Barbara 49 Dragonflies. Day 2 was Splatters and Playing Card Ephemera Inspiration for December 2022. Before I even started, I was behind with trying to get a video made and keeping up with making ephemera every day. I don't know how those ladies do it, but I'm having fun. My playing card idea turned into be a work of art, videoing the process. Several times my phone quit on me and I had to restart it, but overall I have the steps for you to make one. First, I wanted to find a page that would work in my 2023 daily planner. I wanted a page that would have a small page in front of a large page for my idea. Next, I found a napkin that had leaves or greenery on it for the background of my playing card door. I cut it out because I will be trimming it after it dries. I really struggled to keep that page down to get the napkin adhered to the little page. I used matte medium to adhere this to the small page. I coated the page with matte medium and then over the top of the napkin, trying not to rip the napkin. If you work from the inside out to the edges of your napkin, it will help keep it from wrinkling and ripping. I have a large supply of napkins, and I'm always on the lookout for interesting texture and subject that napkins can bring to a project. After it dries, I will tear away the excess from the small page so it fits the page. While this was drying, I found my embossing folders that had trees or branches to go along with my theme. I have two which are from We Are Memories. The one that looks like tree grain, when I embossed with it, it ripped my paper, which I use later anyway. I colored the brown embossing pages with some Distress Oxide inks, forest green, vintage photo, and walnut stain, and let those dry. This is where I use my splatters of all three colors to get the splatters that were part of the prompt. Sorry, that was another phone problem and no video of staining the embossed trees. Then I adhered these two pages to the back side of the small sheet and the large sheet on back. This was really stiff and needed to have a lot of matte medium to hold the embossed pages down. The small page I will trim down after it dries. The large page I cut the embossed piece down to fit with about 1/8 to a 1/4 inch border all around. The matte medium will blend your colors. After adding the matte medium and after it dries, you may want to go back and add a little more Distress Oxide inks for adding highlights and extra color to areas, and a few more splatters to really bring the splattered prompt to show. I also went around the edges with walnut stain, Distress Oxide ink to make my pages kind of have a border. This needed to dry, and I weighted the pages down to keep them flat with saran wrap between the pages to keep them from sticking. I was really trying to make sure that all of it was adhered before I weighted it down and let it dry. The playing cards I played with and tried doing the process in several ways. You can use sandpaper on your playing cards or cover them with gesso. I ran the playing card through the embossing machine before embossing the card, or the embossing didn't stand out enough to get the look I was wanting. This embossing folder is a 3D folder, and if you add a little bit of water, a mist of water onto your project, it really helps you get a good emboss. I used black gesso on one side and white on the other side because I wanted to see that it was a playing card for the door. The gesso covered too much of the card, so I used the sandpaper over the gesso. I ended up liking the color of the vintage photo embossing glaze over both sides. I tried using different oxide inks in vintage photo directly onto the card and antique linen glaze and wasn't that happy. I wanted the red to show through for my door and didn't like the blue playing cards that I tried to use. I think I made 4 different prototypes before I really got the look I wanted and the color combinations. So you could see it was a playing card and embossed with the 3D embossing folder, along with the color combinations of the glaze that worked for my door. I found the lines on the face cards had the perfect placement for cutting the door in the card. I cut along the top and bottom of the playing card and then down the center so the card could open like a door. You need to score the back or sides down to make the door open. Just don't score it too much or it will tear the card. Yep, I did that also in one of my prototypes. I used the open part of the playing card to mark the spot I wanted to cut out of the leaf page of the journaling page. Using an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler, I cut the rectangle out, making sure the cutting mat was protecting the page below. I will save the cutout piece for another project. I looked through my napkin supply to find an animal that would fit into my door. This fox with the trees worked perfect. I ripped around the image so it would fit onto my page. I like the look of a ripped page versus a cut page when adhering it down with matte medium. Now this is a little tricky, making sure you get it where you want it for you can see it through the window. I also measured the distance between the door opening and where I was going to put the fox to make a path that the fox would be at the end of. I used black cardstock and covered it with glitter glue. Then I put small pebbles all over the glued path. These pebbles are very light, like a vermiculite that you see when using in potting soil, so it won't weigh my page down too much. After it dried, I did have to go back and add a few more pieces where nothing had stuck to the black cardstock. I used matte medium to adhere the fox napkin and the pebble path down over the top of the brown embossed tree full page, making sure you can see the fox through the hole in your small page. Keep adding pebbles and glue to make sure your path is covered and looks the way you want it to. It gives the fox something to ground it with the path. I just keep adding a few extra pebbles here and there where there was nothing and it just looked a little strange. So I just kept adding a few more pebbles and trying to make it not where you could see the edge of that cardstock. I made 4 different doors to get the one I wanted to use. It ended up being the red playing card with white gesso on the side with the numbers and black on the back side of the playing card. Then sanding it down so most of it was gone. Then I used embossing ink over the top of both sides in vintage photo glaze. Distress the rectangle hole for the door with Distress Oxide ink and walnut stain before gluing the playing card door down. I use glitter glue by artglitter.com to adhere the door and all of my sticks, branches, and moss. The clamps really helped holding everything down. I had to keep taking the clamps off and adding another layer and putting the clamps back on to try to get all the sticks and pieces down. I had some leftover pieces of that embossed tree that fell apart when I embossed it, so I used pieces of it to cover up the harsh door lines of the card. This layer will be covered as I add the sticks that I had sprayed painted brown, moss, and die-cut flowers. I jazzed up those die-cut flowers with oxide inks also so that they would match the look. Here's where my phone went out on me again, and you don't really get to see me gluing down all the sticks, which are from a tumbleweed that blew into the yard. This is a very light stick and did not add much weight to my page. Yes, the page is a little bit bulky with the sticks and pieces of moss, but it really looks nice in my planner, and I really love how the page turned out. I hope you try this project and enjoy it as much as I did, seeing that little fox peek through the playing card. Made my day on this page. Thanks for watching.